If you see the letters CVT on a used car window sticker, run. These rubber band transmissions are ticking time bombs that turn a $10,000 car into scrap metal. Here are the 7 models that will bankrupt you. Let's start with a car most people forgot, but owners still have nightmares about: the Ford Freestyle and 500. Ford tried to be fancy in the mid-2000s. They partnered with a German company, ZF, to put a CVT in a heavy family car. It was a disaster. The CFT30 transmission cannot handle the weight of the vehicle. Inside, there is a high-pressure flow control valve. This valve gets stuck in the open position. When that happens, the pressure spikes, blowing out the internal seals. The symptom? The Ford lunge. You are stopped at a red light, and suddenly the car lunges forward into traffic even though your foot is on the brake. Ford discontinued this car quickly, but thousands are still for sale. A rebuild kit doesn't exist. If it breaks, the car is trash. You buy a Jeep to go off-road, right? Well, the Jeep Compass and Patriot are barely safe to drive on-road. These imposters use the infamous Jatco JF011E CVT. This transmission has a fatal flaw: thermal management. It cannot cool itself down. If you drive uphill or tow a small trailer, or even just drive on the highway on a hot day, the fluid begins to boil. The computer detects this and triggers limp mode. You will be doing 70 miles per hour, and suddenly the car cuts power and forces you down to 20 miles per hour. There is a whining sound that sounds like a dying vacuum cleaner. That is the sound of your bearings grinding themselves to dust. Replacing it costs $4,000. The car is worth $3,000. Do the math. The Mini Cooper is fun, cute, and mechanically terrifying, specifically the first generation, 2002 to 2008. If you bought the manual, you are fine, but if you bought the automatic, you bought a grenade. They used a CVT called the VT1. This transmission was so weak that Mini literally faced a class action lawsuit and lost. The internal belt is made of steel segments held together by steel bands. Around 80,000 miles, those bands snap. When they snap, they turn into a metal whip inside the casing, destroying everything: the pulleys, the case, the electronics. It sounds like a grenade going off under your seat. BMW, who owns Mini, labeled these as sealed for life. That means you can't even change the fluid to save it. Avoid these at all costs. I love Subarus, but the 2019 Subaru Ascent was an engineering mistake. This is a massive 3-row family hauler weighing 4,600 pounds. Subaru decided to pair a high-torque turbo engine with their TR690 CVT. It's simple physics. The heavy weight of the car puts too much tension on the CVT chain. When the turbo boosts, the chain slips against the variator cones. This metal-on-metal slip creates shavings. These shavings travel through the fluid and jam the valve body solenoids. The car will start jerking violently, or it will refuse to shift to drive. Subaru issued a massive recall to reprogram the computer to reduce power, just to stop the transmission from eating itself. Do not buy the first year of the Ascent. German engineering is usually precise, but the Audi Multitronic was a disaster. This was found in the front-wheel drive versions of the A4 and A6. Instead of a belt, Audi used a link chain. It was supposed to be stronger. It wasn't. The problem is the TCM, Transmission Control Module. It sits inside the transmission, bathing in 200-degree oil. Eventually, the solder joints on the computer melt. The car loses its brain. It develops the infamous Audi death judder. When you try to accelerate from a stop sign, the car shakes violently like an earthquake. Because the computer is integrated into the transmission, you often have to replace the whole unit. That is a $7,000 repair. Only buy an Audi if it says Quattro on the back. The Quattro uses real gears. Everyone knows Nissan CVTs are trash, but did you know Mitsubishi bought the exact same trash? The Mitsubishi Outlander Sport uses the Jatco JF011E, the same one found in the failing Nissans. The input shaft bearings in this unit are made of soft metal. They wear down prematurely. Listen for a growling noise that gets louder as you drive faster. That That growl is the shaft wobbling around, destroying the internal seal. Mitsubishi owners are usually budget-conscious buyers. They can't afford a $5,000 repair, but that is exactly what this car will demand around 100,000 miles. And finally, the car that single-handedly ruined the reputation of the CVT, the Ultima and its twin, the Rogue. From 2013 to 2018, Nissan produced millions of these with the Jatco CV8. The failure rate is staggering. It comes down to the flow control valve in the oil pump. This valve gets stuck, causing oil pressure to drop. Without pressure, the steel belt cannot grip the pulleys. It slips, it grinds, it snaps. I've seen Ultimas on their third transmission before they hit 120,000 miles. Used car dealers love selling these because they look modern and cheap. Do not fall for it. It is not a matter of if it fails, it's a matter of when it fails. Avoiding a CVT is smart, but transmission failure isn't the only way manufacturers are trying to scam you. We've entered the era of the disposable car. There are 5 specific modern cars that are designed to hit the junkyard the second the warranty expires. I exposed the worst offenders in this video right here. Click to watch.